And I want to talk about hope. So, um, to me, all right. So I this morning went, and every morning I've been going on walks, and um, the flowers right now, the spring flowers are just really beautiful, right? They're all coming out. And when we had the snow, I went for a walk one day, and then the snow happened Friday night, and went for a walk the next day. And the flowers that I saw that were like, all bright and shiny the day before, suddenly are like, hello, right? And then the next day, when the sun melted everything, there they are back again, right? And so to me, spring flowers, early spring flowers like the daffodils and the hyacinths and all the things that we're seeing right now, um, have really represented true hope, because what courage they have, and audacity in some ways, to just be like, I'm doing it anyway. I might get 2 feet of snow put on me, but I'm doing it anyway. And I think that they really symbolize hope in a really profound way, because hope lives best in uncertain times, in uncertainty in general. That's where hope, that's the medium of hope. If everything is always just steady and we know exactly what's happening, then there's really no purpose for hope. We don't need to have a sense of holding on to faith and hope if everything's just going along the way. So really, hope feeds in uncertain times, and we have to flex it like a muscle. It's something. It's a very active energy. Hope is a very forceful, active energy that we need to work with in our lives, instead of just passively, oh yeah, I hope this will happen, and then not having any muster underneath it. So really, it's something that we have to give it some muscle to, and then to remember that the reason why humans have always been able to maintain hope is because we're adaptable. We're incredibly adaptable and resilient as a species, and we're seeing that right now as a species around the world. All the various ways people are being creative and supporting each other, and choosing to see the positive that is going to come out of all of this challenge. So in my house since I was a teenager, I've had this quote by Noam Chomsky. Um, and it goes like this: if you assume that there is no hope, you guarantee that there will be no hope. If you assume that there's an instinct for freedom and an opportunity to change things, there's a chance you may contribute to making a better world. And to me, that's a choice. Like, we have to choose hope. We have to choose that we can make a difference. We can't just be passive backseat around it. So let's feed our hope. Let's do some practice to feed our hope. So go ahead and find a comfortable way to be. Sit up straight and tall. And just take a moment to close your eyes and settle into some good posture. Okay, so relax for a moment. Drop your shoulders down. And just see what's alive in you in this morning. Have you been able to sleep well lately, or no? Do you feel rested? Do you feel content in your body? Do you feel anxious? What is it that you're experiencing in your body right now? So just take a moment to reflect, become aware of your inner state as best as you can. This is our gateway into our yoga practice, this awakening ourselves to awareness, inviting ourselves into ourselves. So feel a sense of deep spaciousness as you breathe. Start to bring that awareness into the breath. Allow your body to open to receive breathing. So discover places that might feel like it's not allowing the body to breathe well. How is your throat? How are the muscles all around your neck and shoulders? Can you feel a sense of ease coming in through your diaphragm? Is there a way for you to relax your belly any bit more? Can you drop some awareness down into the pelvis, the weight of your legs, feeling grounded? When you become aware of these places that really are a part of breathing, see what it feels like to relax as much as you can and open your body to receive. Receive your breath. And see what it feels like to steady the exhale, like pouring water, a long stream of water from a pitcher. Feeling a sense of softness through your eyes, your jaw. And almost feel like that water pitcher or the water coming from the pitcher is now just pouring over your whole body. So you can start at your crown. You just feel this ease drop down through your whole body, almost like a wave or a waterfall. And choose an element. It doesn't have to be water. Maybe you're more of a fan of some fire moving through you, or some air moving through you, or even sand or something dropping through you. So just visualize an element that can help you ground, that can help you cleanse, that can help you be present, that can bring the freshness of hope into you. All right, and then let's place the palms together at the heart and drop in. Soften your eyes. Relax. Bow your head in toward your heart. Just make this connection between your head, your heart, and your hands. The world of thinking, the world of feeling, the world of doing. See if you can commit to having these energies lean toward hope, lean arc yourself toward hope as much as you can. And then release your hands and open your eyes, and let's come onto your back. All right, so as you lie down, go ahead and find any comfortable place for your knees to be. So if you want to bend your knees, you can bend your knees. If you want to have your legs straight, you can have your legs straight. And just take a moment to come back into the horizontal plane. And as you're ready, lift your arms over your head and start to stretch. And maybe you immediately want to yawn, and that's good. Go with it. Just see what feels good in your body. Hook your hands possibly or not, you decide. Just lengthen through one side and then lengthen through the other side, all the way from your hand to your heel. So you'll find that your hips are going to move a little bit. Your sides are going to move a little bit. So just let that happen, opening up your side bodies. And just enjoy. When your arms are overhead, this is just a very simple back bend. It's a cue to the nervous system that it's time to wake up, get up and go, kind of turn the engines on a little bit. And then bring the knees into the chest and give yourself a hug, rocking left and right, finding your breath. All right, and then circling your knees a little bit. Try one way. And then go ahead and circle your knees the other way. All right, and then right knee into the chest, left leg long on the floor. Roll out your ankles, wake those up too. Okay, spread out your toes, give them some wiggles. Become a little more alive in your feet. And then change sides, bring your other knee into the chest and wiggle out your toes again. Extending the spine, finding your breath. All right. And then go ahead and bring both knees back into your chest and rock around a little bit, just moving side to side. Take a deep breath in, lengthening your arms and legs on the floor. Deep breath, long spine. And then as you exhale, knees into the chest, bring your head up and in, and give yourself a big squeeze. Do this a few times. Inhaling, opening your body up, arms and legs wide on the floor, stretching to your hands and feet. And then exhale, knees into your chest, head up, find the curl of your spine, breathe out. Okay, one last time. Inhale, opening your body up as much as you can, exhaling, hugging in. And then relax your head down onto the ground. Spin your knees in a circle one more time. And then just put your feet down onto the ground. Before we roll over onto our side and get up off the floor a bit, Just notice here, even just the simplicity of what we've done already. Is your body changed? Is your breath changed? Is your mindset changed? Even just with 5 minutes of being present in your body. And then let's go ahead and roll over onto our side and come up onto our hands and our knees. Okay. All right, so as we start to move through some cat-cows, you can start feeling that your spine is free. Okay, so notice the places where perhaps your spine doesn't feel free, and just hang out there for a little bit if you want to. You can shimmy around, wiggle. It doesn't always have to be so concrete of just flexion and extension. Start noticing the places from the base of your skull to the tip of your tail that need a little support today. And then as you're ready, just feel free to move anything around that you want to move. So you can do some circling through your pelvis or shoulders. You can shimmy and sway from side to side. You can drop one hip closer to the floor. Whatever feels good to just become aware. It's our first step. It's just gaining awareness, presence in our body. And then what to do with that presence. How are you feeling? How do you want to measure out your practice today? Do you need some strong effort, kind of revving the engines? Are you needing more softness? And can you modify your practice just for you? This is the joy, I think, of having a personal yoga practice, is that you really get to follow your own threads. So here you are alone in your living room, or maybe with your pet or your partner or your family. So just follow your threads. What is it that your body wants today? This is just a guide. So you just follow your body instead of me. I'm just the guide to, bushwhack a little bit through the forest, but you're the one who gets to see the trail. All right, so root into the hands and the feet. Let's lift the sit bones high, come into dog pose, melt the forehead, melt the jaw, melt the base of your skull. Try not to look up. So this pose. You don't need to look up at your computer or your phone or anything. Spread out the bones of your feet, spread out the bones of your hands, and pedal out here. Maybe drop one heel down. Maybe you want to do this fast, like boom, 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 opposite heels. Maybe you want to go slower. Just see what feels awakening to support the openness of the back of the body as much as you can. Lift the femur bones high and back. Keep grounded through your hands and feet, spreading the bones of your hands, spreading the bones of your feet. Melt again. Soften through your face as best as you can. There's nothing in your face that has to work for this posture. So see what you can let go. Let the skin fall away from your bones on your face a little bit more. All right, and then let's walk forward. Come into Uttanasana. Feet hip width apart, or wider or narrower. Where do you want to be? Feel your head relax. So try not to pick the head up. Feel a sense of space. Find your breath. You can bring your hand onto a block or blocks. Seeing your spine grow. Feel the femur bones back. So we're coming into a half lift now. Spread out the bones of the feet. Extend the spine. Find the reach of your body. And then exhale and melt again. Let your knees bend. Soften your head again. Let the spine be long and soft, lengthening from your sacrum all the way to the base of your skull. Lift the tail up so your sacrum is following your spine down toward the floor. And then one more time, halfway lift. Spine gets long, spread out the bones of the feet again. While we're here, lift the arches like little bootstraps all the way up into your inner groins. Feel the sit bones widen. The thigh bones are moving back. The shin bones are moving forward, so we're not pushing our knees back. There's a little bit of a bend. And then melt again. Soften. Push off your feet. You can either roll up with a rounded back, or you can press up with a straight back. What feels best in your spine? Inhale, reach your arms all the way up in the air. Lean back a little bit. See what it feels like. Open your heart. And then exhale and release the hands. Interlace your hands behind your back. Open your chest. Let your arms go away from your spine wherever they naturally go. Bend your knees again and float forward. Let the neck bobble around a little bit. Soften the base of the skull. And then inhale and rise all the way back up. Arms to the sky. Let's take some cactus. Open your arms. And then exhale and round in. Tuck your chin, round the back body. One more time. Opening the chest. Exhale. rounding the spine, the forearms to touch. Reaching the arms up to the sky, grab onto the left wrist with the right hand and find the extension, opening up, rooting to the feet, deepen your breathing. See if you can feel that connection from your hip down to your heel, your hip up to your hands. And then come back to center and find the other side. Try not to just yank at your shoulder joint. So you want to have this ability to feel that the stretch is coming from way lower in your hip, and at the very least the base of your rib cage instead of just at your shoulder joint. Stay rooted through your feet. And then inhale, come back up. Open the arms wide. Exhale and bend your knees and come forward. Go ahead and wag your tail a little bit. Bobble your head. Find the ease that's here. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Okay, let's step our left foot back, coming into a lunge on this side, feeling the heart grow. Have your neck be long, so look down at the floor instead of forward so there's space. If you have one block, I chose just one block today so that, because I think a lot of people might have one block but not two. So you can have your two hands on a block on any height. You can just have one hand on the block. If you don't have a block, that's totally fine. Feel the extension through the spine. Okay, let's start moving. So squaring the hips, dropping the head, opening up the backs of the legs one more time. So feeling the breath as you move. I don't care if you inhale or exhale, just keep the breath flowing as you bend your knee and straighten your knee. Just enjoy the flossing that happens here. This is just a really good nerve glide for your sciatic nerve. Try to free up the channels for your nerves to pass in your body is a really good thing. And just opening up a lot of our fascia. All right, and then next time we come to a lunge, put your back knee down onto the ground, and we're going to inhale to lift up to crescent lunge, but with our knee on the floor. So reach up, same thing, grab onto the left wrist that we did before. Okay, so open up, try not to go so far over, think more up than over. And once again, try not to pull from the shoulder, move from the rib cage and from the hip. Open things up. And then come back to center, place the hands, put your left arm or right arm on the inside edge of your knee. Lift your back knee up off the ground now if you want, only if you want. You can keep your back knee down if this is more supportive for your body in any way. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. So we're trying not to hunch in this posture. So try not to have your back be like this, but extend the spine. Finding the breath. Okay. All right, and then we're going to bring our back foot to the outside of your other hand. All right, so take a little bit wider stance, come to a squat. So elbows inside the knees. We're trying to keep our squat high. So, here or here, not down here. Okay. Move your femur bones back. Start to wake up your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes. Extend the heart forward. Spread out the toes. Lift the arches again. Deep breaths in. Long exhales. Inhale, stand up straight and tall, arms to the sky. Okay, and then step back to dog pose one more time. Spine coming long. Let's come forward into a plank. So shoulders come over wrists. All right, so fine. When we're in this pose, let's try not to drop the hips down. Let's try not to lift the hips up to see if you can keep that straight line through your body. Shoulders away from the ears, crown and tail moving away from each other. Find your midline. And then when you're ready, you can put your knees down and bend your elbows to come to the floor. Take a deep breath. Cobra pose. Open the chest. Exhale and melt back down. One more time. Inhale to open your chest, coming into cobra pose. Exhaling to come back down. Okay. This time, take your arms wider. I don't know if you can all see me. Take your arms wider and lift up to a very wide-armed, out in front of you, cobra pose. Extend the back of the neck. Deep breaths. And then exhale and melt back down. Push back to child's pose, or if that doesn't feel good in your back, just pause on all fours and do a little cat-cow. So notice, sometimes when people go from a back bend to a forward fold, this is a pretty extreme. It may not feel so extreme to everybody, going from cobra pose to child's pose, but it is a pretty extreme movement to go from a back bend to a forward bend. So pausing in a cat-cow or wiggling the hips back and forth, rooting the thigh bones back, something like that can help you soothe that transition if you need it. When you're ready, find your way back to dog pose. Spread out the bones of the feet. Spread out the bones of the hands. Notice, feel that sense of dropping in. Let the head drop. Feel the heart expand. Feel the support. So as you hug your hands toward each other, can you feel some lighting up of muscles in the torso of the body, supporting you so you're not leaning into the shoulders so much? All right, let's go ahead. And we're going to bring our right foot forward and our left foot is back, finding your breath. This is the same that we did before. This is time we're going to come up to crescent lunge, reaching your arms to the sky. Just notice with that openness we did before, if there's some spaciousness here for crescent lunge. Deep breaths, and then exhale and release your hands down to the ground. Inhale and lift that leg straight up in the air. Now we're going to get to open the other hip. So stack your hip over your hip, bend your knee if you want, or keep your leg straight. Notice if you're really dropping through that left shoulder, lift the armpit up. Take a deep breath into the hip. And then go ahead and release that foot down onto the ground. Deep breath in, deep breath away. Let's go ahead and bring our other foot forward. So now our left foot is coming forward, right foot back. Blocks are nice if you have them. You don't have to have blocks. You can have your fingertips on the ground. You can have your hand on your knee, wherever you go. And let's just start to wake up this legs. Squaring the hips, dropping the head. Finding a lunge, heart forward. Moving through your breath. Okay, so just allow yourself to be in your body. Doesn't it feel good? Even if it's hard or a little painful here and there, doesn't it feel good to just be in your body? Are you modifying everything that you need to modify to treat your body with respect and care? All right, and then as we're ready, let's go ahead and put our back knee onto the ground. You can either have your toes curled under or lay your foot flat, whichever is happier for your knee. Bring your hands onto your knee and lift your chest. Notice if you tend to lean, or you're hanging in this posture, see if you can hug your front heel and your back knee toward each other to help you be, those are the roots of, your flower that you're trying to stay upright and not be falling, right? So feel that sense of your roots, hugging your front heel and your back knee toward each other to give you the strength to lift upward through your trunk. Deep breaths in, deep breath out. Then when you're ready, lift the arms up. And you can always modify this. If your shoulders don't like to be up over your head, there's ways that you can stretch the side without having to have your arms up overhead. So grab onto your wrist. Try not to pull at the shoulder. Extend from the rib cage, up and over you go. So still hugging front heel and back knee toward each other, hugging your inner thighs toward the midline of the body, or toward the midline of the body. Yeah. Extending, opening up through your side, deepening your breath. And then release your hands. Take your other arm on the inside edge of your knee. Okay, 2 hands on the floor. If you want to lift your back knee up off the ground, you can for runner's lunge, or you can keep your back knee on the ground. So if your hips are tight and you tend up having a little bit of a tug of war, with this posture, take the knee down so that you can really work to drop the sit bone of this left hip. Okay, so sink the sit bone down. Still have a slight bit of hugging the front heel and the back leg, wherever it is, toward each other, so there's some stabilization. Grow the heart forward, widen the collarbones. Keep the shoulder blades moving down the back. How is your breath? Okay, now one more time, we're going to bring the foot to the outside of the knee, coming into a squat here. Okay, So try to keep the hips in line with the knees or higher instead of dropping them way low. And this time, take your arms out to the sides. Keep the back of the neck long. Look at the floor. Spread out the bones of the feet. Try to lift the arches into the hips. All right, and then when you're ready, stand up. Take a deep breath here. Open your heart. Okay, heel toe your feet closer. Come down, Uttanasana. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Relax the head. Let's step the same foot back so that we're going to keep our left foot forward, our right foot's coming back. Inhale, crescent lunge. Arms to the sky or out or palms together wherever you are. Okay. Find the midline, hug into the midline with your inner thighs. Deep breaths. Try not to use the accessory muscles of breathing up in here. Relax the shoulders down. Let the breathing muscle, let your diaphragm do the big work for breath. And release the hands toward the floor. Walk your back foot forward. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. And rise up, arms to the sky. And then exhale and stand for a moment. Deep breaths in, deep breaths away. Feel that quality of yielding. See what you can do to access that sense of connecting, feeling your roots. Scan your body, let things melt if they don't have to be working. Open up the channels for your breathing, your diaphragm, your pelvic floor, your throat. Let everything be soft as you inhale. Deep breath in, arms to the sky. Bend your knees. Softly move forward. Inhale for a halfway lift, spine goes straight, legs get straight. Exhale and melt back down. Step back to dog pose. Deep breaths. Inhale and lift your left leg up in the air. Stack your left hip over your right hip. Be mindful of your right armpit not sinking toward the floor. Push off both hands to extend your spine. Take a deep breath into the inner rim of that hip. And then go ahead and square the hips. Place that foot down onto the ground. Come onto your hands and your knees. Inhale, arch your back. Exhale, round your spine. Let's take our forearms down to the ground. Let's go ahead and come up to dolphin pose. So lift your hips like dog pose. You can always not do this if your shoulders don't like this. All right, so feel the shoulders lift. Feel your sternum lift up toward the pelvis. Hug your hands toward the center, your forearms toward the center. Relax your head. Widen your collarbones. Great, and then rest your knees down onto the ground. Okay. We're going to come and do this on our side. So come onto your side. We're going to take our forearm on the mat perpendicular with the long edge of the mat. Okay. Feet down onto the ground. Now, if you have the ability, you can lift up onto your forearm. And if this is not working for you, put your top foot on the floor and see about that. And if that's still a little too hard, that's okay. You're going to bring your knees into your chest and just open up here. Not towards your chest, but just bend your knees. Okay, so whatever your action that you're doing, drop the shoulder blades away from the ears, open the chest, find your breath. And then release and relax that. And let's switch to the other side. Okay. So the forearm is, I don't know if you can see my forearm, it's like this. Okay. Take a deep breath. You can have your 2 feet on the ground, lift your hips up, open the chest. Make sure that your forearm is just a little bit forward of your shoulder. Feel your shoulder blades move down the back. Open the chest. Breathe into your core strength. Engage your legs. Hug them toward each other. You can always have one knee on the ground or one foot on the ground, both feet like this, so your knees bent, or you can keep both legs on the floor. All right, and then let's relax and come back. Child's pose for a moment. Take your arms down at your sides. Bring your knees toward each other, hug in so that you're a tight little ball for just a moment, and rock. If your forehead is able to touch the floor, just see what it feels like to let it rest and rock. All right, let's come back up to dog pose one more time. You can take dolphin pose if you're feeling like you want to do some different strengthening with your body. So either forearms on the ground or hands on the ground. Then we're going to come forward into either a forearm plank or a regular plank. So whichever you're choosing, find your breath. Hug into the midline with your arms and zip up the midline from your sternum to your heels. Feel your legs get strong to support you. And let's lower ourselves down to the ground. Let's come all the way onto your belly. You get to choose. Do you want to do a cobra pose? Do you want to do a Superman pose? Do you want to do a locust pose with your hands behind you? Just choose a back bend that you love. All right, and then exhale and relax. Stay on your belly, and we're going to just windshield wiper our feet. And you don't have to have your feet up. You can have your feet on the ground and just rock your hips. Just releasing any tension or strain from the back bend. All right, let's come up onto all fours. Again, this time we're going to take a full Vasisthasana, and then after this, we'll be done with being on the wrist so much. I know it might be getting hard. So instead of our forearm down on the ground, we're now going to have our hand on the ground. You can stack your feet and inhale to lift the arm up. You can have the top foot on the ground with your knee bent like this. You can have the bottom knee on the ground with your foot like this. So you just choose whatever your variation is that feels best in your body. Shoulder blades down the back, open and widen the collarbones. If you want to look up at the sky, you can. Deep, full breaths. And then exhale and relax. Come down onto all fours. Perhaps you want to do a cat-cow in between. And then let's move to the second side. So you can have your knee down like this. You can have 2 feet on the floor. You can have the top foot crossed over in front of you. So whatever you're choosing to do, however the pathway you're choosing is, open the chest. Feel the shoulder blades move down the back. Lift the hips. Spread out the feet, spread out the hands, spread out the breath. Okay, and then relax and come down onto all fours again. Okay, one more time, finding the cat-cow. All right, taking a deep breath in. Let's go ahead and lift the right leg up in the air. Back into dog pose first, and then lift the right leg up in the air. Sorry, I forgot to put my watch on so I don't keep you guys here forever and ever. All right, and then let's bring that right leg forward. Come into a lunge. Okay. Open up, crescent lunge one more time. This time we're going to turn and open to the side. So we're coming into our Virabhadrasana, 2 legs. Let's move here. Inhale, arms and legs up. Exhale, and bend. One more time. Okay. And then hang out. Remember, your hands can be wherever you want them to be. You don't have to have your arms out in front of you or out to the sides. There's so many different choices. Track your knee well. So guide it over your ankle and in line with the middle toes. It can be behind the ankle here. Just don't go past. Okay. Breathing deeply. Chest open. Feel that sense of lift through your torso. Remember, hope is a muscle. So what does it feel like? What does hope feel like if it were a muscle in your body? How would you cultivate it? Is it living in your heart? Is it living in your breath? Is it living in the groundedness of your feet? All right, and then let's straighten the leg. Reach the arm up. Feel that side body. Open it up. And then come into Parsva Konasana. So elbow on your knee. You can also put your hand on a block if you wanted to. You can have a block here or here. Okay. Extend through the side body. So everybody turn toward the floor for a moment and then open yourself back up. And just do that a couple times. Turning toward the floor, opening the chest. So find the rhythm of breath that works for you to move in this way. All right, and the next time we get there, hang out in that open space. Turn your heart toward the sun. Stay grounded through the back foot. Notice if you're hyperextending that back knee. See if you can soften a little bit and feel the roots. Sometimes a softer knee gives you better roots. Breathing. Still tracking that front knee over ankle and in line with toes, middle toes. Okay, and then come back up. Take a deep breath. Just come into a starfish. Bring your breath wide and big. And then we're going to turn and just do the same poses on the other side. We'll go kind of sort of reverse backwards there. All right, so let's go ahead and find Parsva Konasana. Okay. Bend your knee. And let's just have a moment to make sure we're comfortable getting there since we're doing this before Virabhadrasana. See what it feels like to have your elbow land on your knee. Check out your alignment. Make sure your knee is over your ankle or before it. Make sure your knee is tracking to the middle part of your foot instead of caving toward the big toe side of your foot. What muscles give you that? See what it feels like to activate the hip to do that. Open the chest. You can always keep your hand on your hip. And if you're wanting and able to, stretch your arm overhead. Let's do the same thing. See what it feels like to turn in and to open up. You find your breath rhythm. Do you want to exhale when you drop in and inhale when you come up? Or would you rather do just the opposite? So just find what feels natural in your body. One more time. And then once we get to a full Parsva Konasana, drop the ears away from the shoulders. Feel the connection from your back foot to your hand. Notice if you're pushing your back knee back, soften it a little bit. Feel the roots go into your foot instead of locking out at the knee. Breathe, ground through both feet, sink like roots of a tree. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Breath is deep and full. Okay, and then let's come on up. You can straighten your thigh for a moment if you need a little break, and then come back into reverse warrior. Open up this side body now, feeling the extension through your ribs. And then let's come into Virabhadrasana 2. Okay, start some movement. Inhale, straighten your legs. Exhale, find your way back down. And remember, your arms do not have to do this. You can be here, moving. And then find your way. You can have your arms down. You can have your hands together. You can have your hands on your hips. Whatever feels good in your body. Shoulders away from the ears, whatever you're choosing. Feel the roots of both feet. Deepen your breath. And then let's come out. Turn your feet to the long edge and come into a restful place. So legs are straight, head is coming down. You can support with your hands underneath you, wherever they go, on a block, on the floor, out in front of you, in between your legs, whatever feels good. Deep breaths, long exhales. Spread out the bones of the feet and lift the arches all the way up into the hips. Let's spin back to the front of your mat for another dog pose. Deep breaths, pedal out your feet. Feel the internal rotation of your thighs. So inner spiral your upper thighs. Let your sit bones widen. And let's come forward. Put your knees onto the ground. Bring your knees together. Just rest for a moment, arms down at your sides. Finding your breathing. Just enjoy the deep hip flexion. See if you can drop the femur bones down while you're in this pose. All right, then we're just going to flow a little bit through some ups and downs. So inhale onto your shins, arms up to the sky, lean back a little bit if it feels good. Exhale and float forward, dropping your forehead down. 2 more times. Inhale, rising up, look up if it feels good. Exhale, lowering back down. 1 more time. And let's relax here for a moment. Let's come up onto your hands and your knees. 1 more round of a cat-cow. All right, and then let's come back up to stand. So walk your feet forward and come up to stand. You might want to block for this. If you have a block, it's okay if you don't have a block. Take your feet wide on your mat, so turn to the long edge. Okay. We're going to go into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. So from here, we're going to find our Parsvakonasana like we did before. We're going to grab our block and hop up underneath the wall so you can maneuver yourself in your space. We're going to inhale and lift up into half moon pose. Now, if you're on a carpet and you're used to doing this pose on a wooden floor, it's much easier to balance on a wood floor than a carpet. So if you want to move, if you have the capacity to move, that's fine. But if you don't, just work with what you got. If your balance is a little off, everything's a little off right now. So let the body mirror what's happening in your being. Okay, so try to stay as quiet in the mind as you can, despite the wobbles that are happening in the body. Engage through your core, lift that leg, stretch through the feet, pull the arches back into the hips, both feet. Feel the collarbones broaden, the shoulder blades move down away from the ears, lots of core. And then when you come out of the pose, try to step back the way you came and come on up. Stand on your mat, let go of the pose, shake it off. Notice if balance or lack of balance really disturbs your mind. Okay, so let's try to let go of the expectations that our bodies are supposed to do certain things. Okay, so the balance postures are there for us really as a muscle building for our mind. Okay, so don't worry about what the balance is doing in the body. Notice the reactions in the mind. Okay. So we're going to come to the other side. Bend your knee to come into Parsvakonasana. Okay, and then when you're ready, hop up onto the split. If you have walls or furniture nearby, you can always help yourself. Make sure your foot on the ground is pointing straight toward the short edge of your mat. Inhale, open up that arm. The stronger you make the center of your body, your core, your hips, the easier your balance will become. Flex your feet and pull your arches up into the pelvis. Kind of, hug into yourself, stabilize. Make sure your breath is moving deeply. Lengthen your tailbone. If you want to look up at the sky, look up at the sky. Be aware it might make you fall over, and that's okay too. So steady the mind, steady the mind. Great, and then a big giant step back, coming out of the pose. Turning to the long edge of your mat 1 more time, relaxing your head down, softening your breath, melting the head. All right, let's go ahead and heel toe the feet. Bring them closer to each other, Uttanasana. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Rise up 1 more time, reaching the arms to the sky. And take a back bend of your choice. So maybe you want your arms wide and opening your heart to the sun. Okay? Maybe you want to cactus the arms. Maybe you want to have your hands behind your back. See what it feels like to lift the front body, to have the heart lifting, like the daffodil that's coming up after being pummeled by the snow. Okay. And then relax. and come folding forward and come onto your mat. All right, let's just sit on our heels in Virasana for a moment. So if this is not comfortable for you, if you have a block, you can sit up on the block. If you don't, you can sit on couch pillows or whatever you got, whatever feels good. And if this doesn't work for your knees, that's okay. Just sit in a different way. You can just sit cross-legged. And you can put something underneath you, like a couch pillow. So finding comfort no matter what your seated posture is. Let's just pause here before we transition to moving on to the floor. And notice the upright heart. See what it feels like to drop the shoulder blades down the back, like little tiny weights hanging off them. Just ever so slightly gravitate the shoulder blades toward each other. Not a lot. Don't squeeze your shoulder blades toward each other and pop your chest forward. Just hint to the shoulder blades that that's their resting place, is to be down on the back, to be toward each other a little bit, and then to be moving into the ribs. So shoulder blades down toward the pelvis, toward each other, and onto the rib cage, ever so slightly. So nothing's really forceful here. Just activate the back body so the front body opens easily without having to push so hard. Open up the channels for breath. Relax the base of the skull. Relax the accessory muscles in your neck and shoulders that your breath can do but isn't necessary right now. Drop the breath all the way into the bottom of the belly. Let the shoulder blades be a little bit more alive than you sometimes feel them to be. And how often during the day do you really notice your shoulder blades on your back? Normally we slump and our shoulder blades just kind of do what they want, right? They don't have a lot of activity. So give them just a little bit of a job to do. Just a little bit of a job, a very light carry, not a heavy load. Relax your face. Now let's transition to pigeon pose. You can always do reverse pigeon pose. I'm trying to make sure I always do a hip stretch in class every day because I think a lot of people are in weird ergonomic scenarios working at home. So we want to keep our hips as open as you can. So let's take our left leg forward and our right leg straight back. And you can have your heel close to your pubic bone, or you can start pulling the heel a little further out, whatever makes you feel stable. If you have a pillow or something, or blanket, you can stick that underneath the sit bone of your front leg so that you have a little support. Okay. And then find the length of your spine as you come down. Now, if this is inaccessible because of your knee or hip, you can always come onto your back and put your left knee on your, or left foot on your right knee and come into reverse pigeon pose instead. So you decide how you want to feel in this pose. Once you get where you're going, close your eyes. See what it feels like to just experience the waves of this posture. There's often waves that come with a deep pose like this where your body starts to open and then it freaks out a little bit, shaking, and then it lets go. So use your breath. See if the exhales can help you come into that soft, releasing place in the body. Deep breaths in, deep breaths away. So the more we get into our bodies and learn how to access, hope really becomes something tangible in the body instead of just in the mind. So if you find yourself wavering in hope and kind of eking into that hopelessness place, even slightly, what part of your body can lift? What part of your body can say, I got this. I got some hope in me. I'm going to release a little hope. I'm going to, stretch into hope. So make it a very physical experience throughout your day. So when you feel like you're collapsing in the mind or the body or the spirit, give the body a chance to teach the mind and the spirit something about holding uprightness, holding hope. Let's come out of the posture and come to the other side. So reverse pigeon pose on your back, or regular pigeon pose on your front. If you want to use a couch pillow or a yoga blanket or whatever you've got, I'm sure you're amassing, your yoga propness in your home. Okay, so just find what you have and find your way into the posture. And just because you did one thing on one side does not mean you have to do the same pose on the other side. Everybody's asymmetrical in their histories and patterns and injuries. So if your body is more comfortable in one or the other, take it. If you're in pigeon pose, try not to drop the head. If you have a block, you can stick your head on a block at any height you want it to be, or you can take your forearms on the ground and hold your forehead in your palms, or you can just keep your hands down and keep the spine long, so the head's just in line with the rest of the spine. So no matter which pose you're doing, grow the spine, open the collarbones, soften the shoulders. Deepen your exhales. Find the fresh new inhale, giving some effort into the hip, okay, into the openness of the hip, not into squeezing or tightening, but just to give the effort into relaxing. Long exhales. Fill with the next inhale. All right, and then as we're ready, let's go ahead and come out of the posture. Come onto your back. Rest on your back for a moment. Bring your knees into your chest if you want. Just rock a little bit left and right. All right. Stretch our legs straight on the floor. Inhale, lengthen through your body, arms and legs long on the ground. And then exhale and relax that. So we're going to do a little bit different of a twist. So we're going to cross our right thigh over our left thigh. And then we're going to shift our hips. We're going to shift to the left with our hips. And then we're going to drop our knees over to the right. We're going to do this in both directions. So you may not go very far in this position, and that's okay. If you have a yoga block, you can stick it underneath the outer legs over there on the right. And just enjoy a little bit of the twist in the back. And then inhale and lift the knees up. Now this is a little bit bigger of a twist. So stay with the legs, right over left. Now we're going to come back to neutral with our spine, and then we're going to shift our hips over to the right. Okay, take a deep breath in, and now we're going to drop our knees to the left. So once again, if you have a pillow or a block or something to put underneath your knees over on that left side if you need it. So coming all the way to the floor is a very big twist, so just see what feels good in the body. Deepening your inhale, deepening your exhale. All right, inhale and come back up. Unwind your legs, 2 feet on the ground, and then we're going to bring our knees to the chest. Open our knees away from each other and then back in. So just letting the inner thighs have a little bit of space. All right, and then we're going to put our feet back down, left thigh over right thigh. We're going to go to the right first, so we'll do opposite from what we did earlier on the other side. Lift your hips to the left, bring your knees over to the right. So if you want to use a block underneath your knees or a pillow, you can do that. Open your chest. Take a deep breath here. And then inhale and lift the knees up. Keep the cross of the thighs. Shift the hips back to neutral. Take a breath there. And then shift the hips to the right. And we're going to drop the knees left. Open up a little bit. You can support underneath your knees if you need to with a blanket, pillow, or block. Find your breathing. All right, and then inhale and lift your knees back up. Unwind the legs. Neutral spine, knees bent, feet on the floor. And then as we're ready, bring the knees toward the chest and circle the knees open and close. So knees away from the midline and then knees toward the midline. And they don't have to be first full circles. Just follow the trajectory of your hip joint, how it wants to move. And then grab onto your feet and rock around a little bit in happy baby pose. If you can't grab your feet, you can hold behind your knees. Feel your spine stay long on the floor and not rounded up. And then relax and come out of there. Let's come into Shavasana. If there's anything you need, you go ahead and take whatever it is that you need. Finding the breath. If you need some extra poses, you can do some extra things. If you want to put your feet up on the couch, if you're in your living room, I've been doing Shavasana a lot like this lately, and I like it, so maybe you do too. And maybe you want to be flat on the floor. Whatever, get yourself situated in your happy place. If you have something to cover your eyes, cover your eyes. If you are cold at all, cover your body with a blanket if you have a blanket. Shavasana should be warm and cozy. As you feel yourself settling into the floor, relax as best as you can. Melt the eyes, melt your jaw. Finding your breath. Long inhale, long exhale. Soften through your shoulders, melting any tension you feel in your chest and torso. Letting your limbs be soft.